It's time to talk with Jay Foss.
Thanks so much for calling in. I really appreciate you.
You're welcome. I appreciate you too, Jay Foss.
The magic happens when you have the right person in the right place at the right time.
If we're having fun, everyone else is going to have fun naturally.
Keep it local radio.
I'm obsessed with transformations on this show. And so I guess that in this case, you are that paradigm shift. You are the thing that transforms people. That's what people call me.
Want to connect with Jay? Dial in.
But then the question is everyone tuned into the right frequency?
Are you tuned in?
Making our corner of the world a little brighter.
Did you make the right decision here? Like, are you, did you bite off more than you can chew?
In figuring out what makes people tick whenever we start something new.
Yeah.
There's always that question of,
raising your inner voice.
wait, was this too much? Did I start hiking a mountain that's a little too high for my level of
With
experience?
Jay Foss.
It's a quote by Thoreau. The price of anything is the amount of life you exchange for it.
Not just another talk show.
We cover all things that make us human.
It's time to be heard.
How can my values and how can these inner thoughts that I have help me be a more whole human being?
Online and on air.
We can't legislate being a good, decent human being. So what can we do? We can become more active in this community.
Raising your inner voice with Jay Foss.
Hey, party people. Thanks for tuning in. This is Raising Your Inner Voice with me, Jay Foss, and delving into what it is that makes you tick. That's a question that I pose to different listeners each week and each guest that I have on the show. What is it that makes you tick as an individual, as a person? And I have this strange belief that what makes us tick will lead down a path towards unity, towards community with each other, because I think that we're all interconnected, interrelated, interwoven in this life that we're living and that we're leading. And I really appreciate taking this time together. For me, it's this liminal space on Sunday evenings. For many people, it's whenever you can tune into the podcast, whenever it's appropriate for you. And I would love for feedback on the show. 617-843-5393. Feel free to shoot me a voice message, text me a voice message, or you can email me a voice message to jay.foss@me.com. Let me know if the things that we're talking about jive with you, if the things that we're talking about really resonate with who you are. Last week, we had a bunch of people interacting with us online, and it was phenomenal. I'm really appreciative of that. I'm recording the show that's airing this Sunday, March 2nd. So there won't be much interaction. It'll be me rambling for a bit, but hopefully you're okay with that, because I have a feeling that I'm going to uncover something that will speak to you, speak to your soul, speak to your being, and speak to your heart, which is the topic of the show this evening. It's matters of the heart. As a follow-up to last week's show where we were talking all about kind of your soul is a wild animal. What is the wild animal in your soul? I'm curious. Lately, I don't know if it's synchronicities. I don't know if it's coincidences. I don't know if it's just being the equivalent of being a Jeep driver. When Jeep drivers see a lot of other Jeep drivers, they all honk at each other, wave at each other, make sure that they're seen and heard. The heart of life is something that I keep on stumbling across in various forms, different meditations, different daily devotionals, and different readings that I've been coming across. And even just topics of conversation come up. And what is it about the heart that is really a reflection of your inner being, of your inner life. And the reason that I'm saying this is a follow-up to last week's show is because I think that for many of us, heart issues, not literal heart issues, but metaphorically speaking, heart issues are something that really can speak to that question of what is it that makes you tick? And what is it that makes you come alive? right? The classic example that I use in all of this is music, and it's what music speaks to your soul, what music really gets you feeling alive. And I think that when you boil it down, the essence of feeling alive has a lot to do with your heart. And it's an element of you, and it's an element of me that I don't think we talk often enough about. And I'm no expert in this field. I feel like, as I mentioned, it's something that I keep on stumbling across. I keep on bumping into issues of the heart. And I'm curious for you, what does that mean? Passion is an obvious, not even leap. It's just an obvious next step from there. With what are you passionate about? And passions of the heart can be both temporary, right? Passions of the heart that dissuade us and that distract us. But a deeper passion of the heart is something that can be your life's calling. It can be something that you know ultimately deep down that you were made to do and bring about in your own life. And what are those issues? What are the ways in which you figure that out? For me, one big thing that I've done recently is I took a day off in February. I work numerous jobs, and so taking a full day off, and actually it wasn't even a full day off. It was just basically from the hours of 9 to 4. I took a solitude retreat, and it was really, really beneficial to me. The reason that it was beneficial is because I get so easily distracted with what's going on in my life and where do I need to be next and what am I doing at the moment. I have a lot going on. And so taking this time of solitude was a chance for me to delve into my own heart, my own soul, if you will, the wild animal of the deer, which we uncovered. Yeah. And heart matters are things that both can be fun and exploratory, as well as this more sense of seriousness. And when we talk about like what are you longing for? What is your heart's longing? That speaks a lot to purpose in life, right? And so when we're all figuring out, or rather when each of us is individually figuring out what our purpose in life is, I think taking the time to be quiet and listen is a good practice, and something that I noticed for myself that I could use more of is taking this time and not being so busy with my own life. Because we're all thrown with so many distractions. And I mean, this is certainly right. I'm preaching to the choir here. You are a better expert at this than I am. And I would love to hear from you in regards to what are ways that you listen to your heart. Again, you can shoot me a message, 617-843-5393. Either text, call the number and leave a voicemail, or shoot me an email, jay.foss@me.com. And when we're digging into these hearts, or rather the matters of the heart, how do you know that you're actually listening to your heart and not listening to your thoughts? Where is the distinction there? What is it that defines a thought versus a heart emotion? Because I'm assuming matters of the heart are more in tune with emotions, but maybe that's a bad assumption on my part. I'm thinking about it and I'm chewing it over mentally. Is that true? Yeah, though emotions don't get at the depth of what I'm talking about when I say matters of the heart, right? Because matters of the heart, there's depth there that is in tuned with and in relation with your wild soul animal. Right? I mean, it's not just a whimsy. I think of emotions as being more whimsical. They come and they go. So maybe it's like an ongoing emotion that you are feeling throughout the ups and downs. So it's the constant, despite any emotional variations that you might have. So matters of the heart might be the constant in that. Would love to get your thoughts on that. Would love to get your feelings on that. Would love to get the essence of your being on that. This is Raising Your Inner Voice. And this Sunday evening, we're talking all about matters of the heart, matters of the soul, matters of your being, the essence. I mean, these are all different ways of kind of saying similar things. It's the essence of who you are and how you're living the way that you're living, why you're living the way that you're living, and how that expresses itself, especially when we look at our circumstances and we do look at the ways in which we fill up our calendars and fill up our time. Am I living the life that I want to be living? Most of the time, I want to say yes, but we're people, we're fallible beings. So we're not perfect, as if I needed to be reminded of that, as if you needed to be reminded of that. Yeah, we know you're not perfect. I'm not perfect, but are we doing the best that we can do? Because half of me wants to say, yes, of course we are. And the other half of me says, it doesn't matter. What really matters is that you are beloved and loved, right? It matters of the heart. I love it flows naturally from there, that if you are loved, if I am loved, and we believe that, then that changes the heart. Because then anything from there can be expressed with gratitude, and it's coming from a more stable, well-balanced, even secure, I want to say attachment, but secure place. And one of the other things that we strive for on this show is to be full, whole human beings. And by being a full, whole human being, that means incorporating our thoughts, our minds, our spirits, our hearts, our being, the physicality of who we are, the emotions of who we are, all of it, right? I mean, in you being a full human being, you can experience the fullness of life by being. And at the heart of being a human being, we're able to transform our own lives, right? So you're in control of your life. You can do what you can do. I'm in control of my life. I can do what I can do. But when we actually acknowledge and come from that place of heart, from our essence of our true being, it seems like things get opened up into freedom. Necessary boundaries that were placed there either externally or internally. It doesn't really matter to me. Sometimes it's one, sometimes it's another. But boundaries, unnecessary boundaries that have been built up, I feel like get knocked down. They get leveled when we're operating out of a place from our heart. All right, we're getting very esoteric with this. What does this mean? Right? So what am I trying to get at? I'm trying to encourage you, dear friend, to live your life and live it to the fullest that you truly can and be who you are. I mean, that's why when we end the shows, right? We end it with, please be kind and gentle with yourself and share that same grace with others. It's this weird reciprocity. It's this weird duality where we have to be okay with ourselves we have to extend kindness and graciousness towards us first. Because if we're not doing that to ourselves, goodness gracious, I don't think that you're able to do it to other people. I don't think you're able to actually truly be there, help, and care for. Goes back to the heart. Love. I want to say you can't truly love someone else if you yourself don't feel loved. And so we have to take that time and express that, both to ourselves and to other people. Diving back into this day of solitude that I took, it's called a Soul Sabbath, and it was from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., and it was in community. So it was a group of about 20 to 25 of us that we all took this day of silence together. It was at a local convent in Ipswich, and it was really cool. I haven't taken a full day of silence before myself, so it was a new experience for me, but one that was very welcomed in my chaos that I create for myself for the most part. But it was nice to carve out time to just be and take some deep breaths and listen to myself beyond my thoughts, listen to a divine higher being, and really start to figure out, like, all right, what are my issues? What are things that are unresolved still within me that I can be working on? Beyond that, one of the goals of the Soul Sabbath retreat was not to be productive. So they encouraged people to take naps if you wanted to take a nap, to spend time journaling if you wanted to journal, to do some artwork if you wanted to do artwork, to do walking meditations, and to just be. So in that sense, having the freedom to go and do that was a huge gift for me. So if you get the chance to do a day of solitude, particularly a day of solitude in communion with other people in community, you should do it. I would encourage you, and definitely strongly encourage you to give it a shot. At the end of the day, I was like, I feel good. I don't feel better necessarily. Like I didn't feel like Superman by the end of it, which I was kind of surprised at. I expected to like be 100% rejuvenated and 100% at peace with the world and myself. It's like, no, I still have the problems that I have. I still have the responsibilities that I have. And I still have, I'm still me. But taking the time, I mean, it's kind of like these Sunday evenings, right? Taking the time out and showing up with all of who you are, with all of who I am, faults, difficulties, good things, all of it. Showing up is a good thing. And I wish that I could show up more, that my mind wasn't so errant, going in so many different directions. And it is, though. So in taking the time to listen to myself, listening to my heart, it's something that I got quite a bit from and would encourage you to do as well. This is Raising Your Inner Voice. For anyone just joining the live feed on YouTube, or for anyone checking out the podcast, a reminder in case you've turned it off and you're continuing on with your workout or your laundry listening, or whatever it is that you're doing, dishes maybe. Such mundane things that we live. Is this really life? Is this really life here? You know the answer to that, of course. This is the life that we're leading, and we'll be right back.
Stay with us as we continue Raising Your Inner Voice with Jay Foss.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber. If you're replacing the windows in your home, please see the Anderson 400 series windows on display at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or Plastown, New Hampshire. The Anderson 400 is attractive, durable, energy efficient, and reasonably priced. Remember, Anderson is the most trusted name in windows. See the Anderson 400 at any of our 3 locations. That's North Reading, Beverly, or Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
Moynihan Lumber, we measure up.
If you have any issues, topics, or voices that you think would be great to be heard on this show, please reach out, jay.foss@me.com. If you want to add your voice to the conversation, record a voice memo and email it to me, or tune in live, Sunday evenings at 7 p.m.
How's your 401k? I'm Luke Noble of Noble Financial Group. As a certified financial planner, I know you can't plan for everything, but we can prepare you for life's twists and turns. We'll make a plan to help your money last through your retirement years. Our team is dedicated to helping you achieve your financial goals. Let us help. Visit noblefinancialgroupllc.com.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through MML Investor Services. Member SIPC. Noble Financial Group is not an affiliate or subsidiary of MML Investor Services.
Making our corner of the world a little brighter, online and on air. Raising Your Inner Voice with Jay Foss.
And we are back here on Raising Your Inner Voice. This evening, we're speaking about matters of the heart. Kind of a different take on the whole inner voice thing. I haven't really delved down to the matters of the heart issue before, though we do deep dives with various guests. And if you haven't checked out old shows, i.e. shows from when I was on North Shore Radio, I would encourage you to do that. We have some good conversations on many of those shows with various people. It mainly focused on people across the North Shore, because that was my main broadcasting audience. But now we are expanded since we have more opportunities at our hands. So we're expanded the show, but the focus of the show is really still the same thing, right? It's figuring out what makes you tick and what makes me tick. The cool thing is we get to do this together, right? So you're not alone. I'm not alone doing this, though sometimes, like this evening, I do feel like it is just me alone. Hello? Hello? Is anyone else there? I'm entertaining myself at the moment, but I'm not alone in this because I do get feedback from friends and listeners of the show, and would love to hear your thoughts and suggestions on the show. Not just feedback about the show, but are there guests that I've had on that really spoke to you? Issues or topics that we've covered that really, really resonated with you? Or perhaps the opposite. Maybe there were things that the show has gone down a twisting, winding path that you're like, how did we end up here? I don't like this. And like all things on this show, if it's rubbing you the wrong way, listen to yourself. What's that about? Why is it that things are rubbing you the wrong way? Maybe we can figure this out together, because you are not alone. You are in this life with me and with the other dear listeners that we have, friends of the show, right? We have lots of friends of the show, and really appreciate you being here. But yeah, so getting back to matters of the heart, I think of the Wizard of Oz. With the Tin Man, right? The Wizard of Oz, metaphorically speaking, is right up my alley because Dorothy, who's trying to find her way home, had the shoes with her the whole dang time that she could get home whenever she wanted, but didn't realize the power that she had, i.e. the power within. Same goes for the Scarecrow, who had a brain, the Tin Man, who had a heart, the Lion, who had courage, right? It's the adventures and paths that we go down, the adventures that we go on in life that make our lives what they are. So it's the friends and family in your life and in mine that define our days, both good days and bad days, right? And even if you are alone, that that's okay. That's actually one of the big lessons that I learned in the solitude. I feel like I was dealing with issues of self-worth and being okay with being me. And it was really, it was really nice to be able to just breathe and be. Because so often we get wrapped up with the roles that we lead, right? The role that you lead. And it can be job related. It could be relationship related. It can be all these other various things that define who we are that really, when you come right down to it, is an aspect of who you are. But it's not the who you actually are, right? It's not the defining characteristic of you and of me. It's not the heart of the matter. Damn it, Jay. It's not the heart of the matter of who you are. And at the same time, we can't shed these roles and these responsibilities and completely flake out on our lives, because so much of our lives are those roles and responsibilities. But at the end of the day, if we're not taking the time to figure out deeper issues of who you are and who I am, then what are we doing? We're spinning our wheels. We're not maturing. We're not evolving. We're not growing. We're not living life. And life is meant to be lived. It is an adventure like the Wizard of Oz. That was my Bostonian accent coming out. The Wizard of Oz. It only slips once in a while, here and there. It doesn't slip all the time, but when it does slip, it's pretty dang obvious where I'm from. So back to the train of thought on matters of the heart. And yeah, I mean, we if we are full human beings and all living to the best of our capabilities, which I think at least I'll say the majority of us are, even people that I completely disagree with, even people that may not communicate well with me, even people that I misunderstand and who I think misunderstand me. Even them, I think that they're doing the best that they can do. And they can't get outside of their own perspective, just as I can't. I mean, whenever I, we're obsessed with transformations on this show. So whenever I do transform into something like I'm a transformer, I feel like I'm talking about something as when I was a little kid. The Transformers, as soon as I transform, as soon as I evolve, maybe that's a better way of phrasing it, or grow in any sense, I'm still within that boundary and context. So getting outside of new boundaries are automatically putting up more boundaries around that. On this show before, I've talked about kind of worldviews and how you can go from a me-centered worldview to a we or tribal-centered worldview to the ultimate story worldview, right? The cosmic worldview of we're all in this life together. We all have agency. We all have capabilities to live our lives the way that we want to. Even people that choose not to are still choosing to live their life in that way. So if we have these different capabilities and living our lives the way in which we want to live our lives, we are caught within those structures. And until we can see the ultimate cosmic story of all of us together, living corporately is not the right word either. But you know what I mean, right? Getting at this sense of it's not just a tribal, it's not just a small group thing. It's all of us are advancing, whether or not we think we are. Even if we don't think we are, we still are. And when that is your framework, when those are your boundaries, then things make so much more sense. I was talking with someone recently regarding they're vegetarian, and they were saying that all life forms are a gift. And so that's why they're a vegetarian, because it doesn't matter There's no humane way to kill an animal, is what my friend said. And I've been thinking about that, and people have put structures around like this is the humane way of killing animals, and this is the humane way of living this way. But that's a smaller thinking structure around that. Hopefully I'm not getting too deep down into a rabbit hole for you, though I do love rabbit holes on this show. On Raising Your Inner Voice, very often we do deep dives and go down rabbit holes. And the one for this evening that we're going down is about issues of your heart and issues of my heart. What are some good practices to stay in touch with your heart when you figure out what makes you tick? How do you actually not forget to be doing that, to pay attention to it? How do you remember to remember? Because so often when we do get preoccupied with other things, it's easy to forget, right? I mean, if you're busy and you got other things to do, like other mouths to feed and other people to please and other beings to support, it's hard to carve out time to make sure that you don't get lost, that you remember to remember who you are. And following the remembrance comes the actual acceptance, right? And I was going to say the doing, though I've heard the phrase that we are human beings, not human doings. So the what that we do shouldn't define us, but who you are should define you. I mean, what you do does matter, though, right? I mean, there are cases in the world where good intentions aren't everything. In fact, good intentions can be the pathway and the roadway to hell. So if that's the case, right, there are a lot of people who have done good things. Excuse me, there are a lot of people who have done bad things in the name of doing good things. That what you intend to do isn't everything, but also what you do isn't everything. So if it takes more than good intentions and takes more than good actions, what are we doing in this world? What are we doing in this life? Oh my goodness. It's wild. And then, I mean, we can look around at all the problems that we currently have in the world, maybe all the problems that we have had, all the problems that we might have in the future, right? Last episode, I referenced a book that I'm reading for a class. That's where I got the whole concept of your soul being a wild animal, is from a book that I'm reading for a class. And in the class, we've been talking about how your attachment style, right? So your family of origin and the way that you were formed affects how you deal with current challenges. However, something else that we've talked about in the class is that your future worries also impact your current challenges. So what you're worried about, i.e. failing, how you're worried about failure can impact your current challenges. And perhaps that's something where you tend to not want to go down a certain road, or you tend to not want to help solve certain problems in the world, even though your heart may be speaking to you about it. You're afraid of failure. I'm afraid of failure. Hopefully some of this information is helpful to you of what I'm learning about. And then the third aspect, so we have the past, the formation, the future of potential failure or worry about it. And then at the same time, we're all dealing with current challenges. So it's really the horrible trifecta of ways that you were formed in attachment of when you were like a baby, right? Ways of attachment in how you view and feel your way through the world that affect how you are right now. Your future potential worry about failure can affect how you're living right now. And the actual current challenges on top of it all affect how you're doing and dealing with everything right now. Life is complex and complicated is what my thought is after expressing all of that, because it truly is, but it's better than the alternative. So I don't say that lightly or gloss over the fact that life is complicated and complex. It certainly is. But the only thing that gives me hope and the thing that keeps me going and striving is the fact that this is the life that we have. This isn't a movie. Sometimes it may feel like it. I think about this often when I'm walking the dog or something like that. Like now would be a good time for a zoom out camera angle of like, oh, there's that tiny guy walking his dog. But there are no zoom outs. This is real life. You're living it. You're still in it. I'm still in it. Thank goodness. And we're still going. And we're still dealing with some problems that I thought that we've already solved, but apparently we haven't, because we still seem to have them. And it's not really a laughing matter. But if you can't laugh about it, I mean, that means you're not enjoying it for sure. And it doesn't all have to be joyful. What is the it that I'm referring to? Life itself. Life does not have to be joyful all the time. I mean, we all know this. There's hard moments and there's light moments. And it's that space in between, like this evening, where we can take a deep breath and delve into things like matters of the heart. And so in dealing with life, when you combine what I've just shared about the past forming you, future projections of what we do, and then current issues that we're dealing with, it is tiring. So make sure that you're taking care of yourself. And how are you doing that? What are your secrets? What are lessons that you've learned that you can share with? Maybe it's not even sharing it with me. Maybe it's just sharing it with someone that needs a pick-me-up, right? So pay it forward. Yeah, it's truly mind-boggling. But yet again, I mean, this is the life that we have. This is the life that we're leading. And I mean, that's where all good art comes from, right? whether it's movies that you're into, whether it's physical art, whether it's music that you're into, all of these things are perhaps fake and not real representations of life literally, but they speak to something deeper. I mean, that's why Star Wars has such a devout following. That's why The Wizard of Oz, which I mentioned earlier, the movie is such a good exploration into what it means to be alive, and that life in and of itself was in black and white originally. So it was good. But then, boom, everything comes to life in the land of Oz. And so it pops into color. Simple, simple effects like that really speak to the reawakening within your life, the listening to your heart, the paying attention to your soul and figuring out, all right, are we getting up for another challenge today? Are we going to make this happen today? I think so. I think that today is a great day to do it. And I don't know about you, lately, I've been exhausted by the end of the day. Days are full and nights are not long enough to fully restore. But that's okay. I mean, it's tiring. Life is supposed to be tiring. Life is supposed to be difficult. No one ever guaranteed that it would be an easy ride for anyone. So when it's not easy, when it is difficult, when life gets challenging, we have to rise up to the challenge. We have to be okay with things not being okay. And that is exactly why things will be all right. Because we're okay with things not being okay. But things will be all right. I mean, I love paradoxes, and that seems to be one right there of being okay with things not being okay. And that is reassuring all of us everything's going to be all right. Shout out to everyone that sings about things being all right, right? Because they're seeing past current situations, past current difficulties, and acknowledging that there's more to life than just what we see around us. And I think that actually ties well back with the matters of the heart, because the heart isn't looking literally with vision, with eyes. The heart sees on a deeper level. So if you're paying attention, and if I'm paying attention, if we're paying attention, then I think that we can be more aware when making decisions tomorrow. Both literally tomorrow on Monday and figuratively tomorrow, the day that never comes, because we're always living today, right? We're always living in this moment. Yeah, let me know what you think. Some deep thoughts for a Sunday evening for you. And there we go. But that's what we do on Raising Your Inner Voice. I do have some cool guests coming up. Well, I'm not going to get too far into that. I have some out of the box guests coming up. And I think that they will be topics that will appeal to you. Some of them will be live. Some of them will be recorded when I'm not able to join you live on Sunday evenings from 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I will still post a new episode for you. And the benefits of this being a radio show means that you get segmented commercial breaks. So you know when a commercial is happening and when a commercial is not happening. Unlike podcasts themselves, podcasts sponsors typically will promote things and you don't always know that you're being promoted to. Whereas in a radio format, you know where the commercial breaks are, right? You know when things are being sponsored. And I like to be forthright about that. So that's why I still, even though I'm not currently on a radio station, I still call this a radio show for that reason, is that we take a couple commercial breaks, and you know that that's where the people who help support this show to make it happen, that's their time to shine, is in those commercial breaks. Otherwise, many podcasts and different shows end up either having sponsors come on when you don't know necessarily that they're sponsoring, or they're trying to sell you something, right? And I think that the people who are near and dear to me are smarter than that. They don't need to be sold to. You don't need to go out and buy my latest book to follow me, right? We're friends regardless. We're fans of each other regardless. We're in this life together regardless of if I'm trying to sell you something. So I'm not. I'm trying to carve out this time together and make sure that you're doing well. And I hope that you're doing the same for me. And by I hope, I mean I already know it's true, that I appreciate you carving out to make sure the time to make sure that that I'm still here with it, doing well, and paying attention myself. So with that thought, we are going to head into another commercial break here on Raising Your Inner Voice. We'll be right back after these commercial messages.
Want to connect with Jay? Dial in as we continue Raising Your Inner Voice.
Are you worried about the stock market, your 401k, or rising costs? Hi, I'm Luke Noble of Noble Financial Group. As a certified financial planner, I know you can't plan for everything, but our dedicated team of professionals can better prepare you so your money lasts as long as you do. Let us help. Visit NobleFinancialGroupLLC.com.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through MML Investor Services. Member SIPC. Noble Financial Group is not an affiliate or subsidiary of MML Investor Services.
Hi, I'm Paul from Gentili Brewing, and we've been open for 9 years this March. Celebrate with fresh cans of Allen's Rye Pale Ale, South African Pilsner, Imperial Porter, Divergent IPA, and our own Irish Red. Come on down to 59 Park Street in Beverly to grab some to go. Want to try before you buy? Sample them all in our custom flight board. Our tap room is more than just beer. We have many events planned, including live music, food pop-ups, yoga, and even a book signing. For details, visit gentilibrewing.com. That's GENTILE brewing.com.
What does living a better life mean? And what's your process in figuring that out? If you want to join in the conversation live, tune in Sunday evenings at 7 p.m. Eastern. If you want to gather your thoughts first, record a voice memo and email it to jay.foss@me.com, because I would love to have your voice in this conversation. If you think someone else might need a conversation like this one, then let them know to get involved.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber. Professional builders choose Andersen Windows because they are the #1 trusted and recommended window and door brand in the United States. Andersen Windows and patio doors offer beautiful natural wood interiors, low maintenance exteriors, and outstanding energy efficiency. See the complete line of Andersen Windows on display at Moynihan Lumber in Beverly, North Reading, and Plastown, New Hampshire, or visit us at MoynihanLumber.com.
Moynihan Lumber, we measure up.
Not just another talk show. It's time to be heard. Online and on air. Raising Your Inner Voice with Jay Foss.
And welcome back. We are raising your inner voice here. That's what we do on Sunday evenings. Raising your inner voice, making sure that we are on the same frequencies, making sure that your voice is heard in the conversation. Would love to have you join the conversation, and you can do that by leaving me a voice message or texting a voice memo to 617 843 5393. That's the phone number to call. And this evening, we're speaking about, we're delving into issues and matters of the heart. So not quite the soul, but issues of the heart. Things that are near and dear to your heart. I feel like there's a ton of heart cliches that we could go down. But we're not going to go down that road. Not the road of cliche, but rather, how do you know what your heart is saying? I mean, that's a good question, right? For me and for you. For us. It's how do you know what your heart is saying? And how are you sure that it's your heart saying it, right? I think that digging into a lot of this topic is very revealing for me. When I took the Soul Sabbath Day of Solitude, like I said, I didn't come away from it with any strong, sudden, wild, euphoric moments. But I did come away just being more appreciative for this life that we have. And for the moments that we have. The quiet ones, as well as the crazy ones. And that's what life is about, right? So if you're able to take your quiet moments, and if you're able to listen to yourself, I think there is an aspect of that that is not only beneficial to you, but it's beneficial to me. And why might I say that is, I mean, I'm not going to keep on repeating the same drum that I've been beating since really this show began. But it's okay to be okay. It's okay to be not okay. It's okay to just be. That was probably the deepest insight, which is hilarious to me because it's not really much of a deep insight, is right? I mean, on the spectrum of deep insights, being okay with just being is not a huge leap or jump into the deep end of understanding about life. But it's just where I'm at for now. And yeah, and at the end of that thought and feeling, the heart does feel fuller. And the heart, well, it's not even just the heart that feels fuller. I feel fuller in expressing that. That's actually something that I think it dawned on me now, even though it was about half a month ago that I took the day of solitude. But yeah, it's the full being. And being okay with being a full human being that just came to me. But it stems from and is related to the issues of the heart, which when we boil it down means that we are loved. And what's our role? I'm going to put some songs in the show notes that are meaningful to me. I hope you check them out. If you feel like going down further rabbit holes with me, and pretty much all of the shows that I have, I put YouTube links to various songs that you can jam out to. Some of them are jammers and they'll get you going. Other ones like are meditative, and other ones are just fun. And yeah, feel free to go ahead, check out the show notes, and you will find many songs. I think I have 4 lined up for this evening's show regarding matters of the heart, because that is the heart of life. Matters of the heart is the heart of life. And it's a uniting force in this life. So, my dear friend, just wanted to thank you for being a part of this journey and ride with me, for sticking. If you've stuck through this far of the episode, kudos to you. You know what? If you stuck this far in the episode with me, I want you to do me a favor. Shoot me an email, jay.foss@me.com. Shoot me an email with your address, and I want to mail you something as a little gratitude gift for you for sticking with me in this episode. Shoot me your address in an email, or you know what? You can text it. You can text your address to 617-843-5393. Make sure you dial the number right. You don't want to be sending your address to some randos and have it look like spam. Text me your address or shoot me an email with your address, and I have a little something that I would like to send you as a thank you for enjoying this time together. And let me know also if you have any thoughts for topics that we need to cover. There's a lot. There's a lot coming up in the next 3 months that I know I have planned for booking guests to talk with. But yeah, anywho, we'll save that for another show, right? But in the meantime, you know what we do. We turn the floor back over to you, because now you're being released out back into your own life. You've had enough of me for now. I mean, goodness, a full hour? Thank you for being here for a full hour. Okay, maybe it was only 20 minutes. Maybe you were listening for 5 minutes, as you could squeeze it in. Even still, thank you so much for tuning in to Raising Your Inner Voice. Thank you for raising your inner voice, and listen to me as I ramble and stumble across raising my own inner voice. It's a fun thing that we do together, isn't it? I mean, it's kind of wild, kind of crazy, certainly silly at times, and certainly deep at others. But go ahead and do what we do each and every week. Please be kind and gentle with yourself, and share that same grace with others.
If you're enjoying this podcast, please help spread the word about raising your inner voice. Join the conversation live. Email jay.foss@me.com to suggest ideas to explore. Also share this podcast with your friends. Let those who need conversations like this have a chance to check it out.
Then let them know to get involved.